shots being fired, and there are people running, possibly victims involved.
A gunman opens fire on a congressional baseball practice. A congressman and several others shot.
Yeah. It was real scary times. I mean, I wear this bracelet that has June 14th on it of that year, 2017, and it just says, "In God we trust," right? So that book on the table is a chronological reporting of all the events, interviews with so many people. But so I was on the field that day at shortstop, starting shortstop, and Trick Kelly was, well, Ron DeSantis was third base. Trick Kelly was backing him up, and Ron rode to baseball practice with me every day, now governor of Florida, and we were good friends. He had to go to a meeting. He said, "When do you think about leaving?" And I said, "Well, we can leave any time. We've both taken batting practice. We've both done our infield practice, and the game was the next day, right? So we're pretty tuned in to what our roles were." And I said, "Well, let's let Chairman Conaway," Mike Conaway was in the batting cage taking batting practice. I said, "Let's let him finish, and then we'll take off." So Conaway finished batting, and we ran off the field. I ran from shortstop around behind the pitcher's mound, and Steve Scalise was at second base, and I fist bumped him on the way by, and ran down and got my bag out of the dugout. Ron went onto the car, and I had a bag with my phone and my keys and all that in it, right? So I came up. Tom Rooney at first base from Florida asked me what time it was. I told him it was like 7:01, 7:02, and told him what time it was, and he said, "I gotta go." He bounced off the field in front of me through the gate. So I walked through the gate in the parking lot, which was right by the YMCA, small Alexandria City baseball field. And as I'm walking to the car, I'm stopped by a gentleman in the parking lot who asked me who was practicing that day, Republicans or Democrats. And I said, "This is the Republican team practicing." He said, "Thank you." Turned out it was the shooter. And turns out that shooter had a assassin list in his pocket with either 6 or 8 names on it, and my name was on it. He wanted to kill me. He had my name, my physical description, my office number, and maybe a couple other factoids on every one of them, folded up in his wallet. So I knew he had researched me.
They say it's too early to talk motive or how long Hodgkinson had been planning the attack that has left Washington and America.
But at that time, I didn't know that. He may not have recognized me, ball cap on, sweaty baseball uniform, or he wasn't ready. He proceeded to go down to his van and load his weapons and came up. We were already on the way back the hill when he shot I think 137 rounds at my colleagues, hit Steve Scalise, hit a couple other people, Zach Barth, and David Bailey was Capitol Hill Police that was there with Steve Scalise, and he held him off with a handgun. This guy had a rifle, so he could have done a lot more damage, I think, if he'd have been more adept at handling his firearm. But God spared me that day, because the guy wanted to kill me. He didn't want to kill Steve Scalise. He didn't want to. I don't know if there were maybe 1 or 2 other players there, but he wanted to kill me. He had my name on his list, and when I found that out, of course, there are a lot of God winks in the whole story, but when I found that out, I'm very, very thankful that God loves me enough to protect me on that field that day and every day. But that was an event that, was a tragic day for Congress and tragic day for Congressional baseball. And, I don't know that a day goes by that we don't think about it, that we're involved in it. And I didn't have the first shot fired at me. God got me off the field. My colleagues heard the sound of the bullets whizzing by, fled for their life. It was scary, scary times.